Hey, what's happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. Just enjoying my morning coffee and figure we'd knock out a quick video. Today is not a business story, but I thought it was an important story to share. And it's important to realize that these same people that are telling people to shut down their businesses, that are telling people to stay home, that are telling people that we need to continue extending the eviction moratorium 16 months in, we have to look at some of the advice these people are giving and some of these things that these people are saying, and then say, does this make sense? Is this something that we should really follow? Are we getting sane advice? So a gentleman by the name of Francis Collins, I believe his name is, who's the National Institute of Health director, says, I know it seems weird, but he suggests that parents wear masks at home in their own homes with their children. Now, that does seem weird. It seems really fucking weird to me. Doesn't seem to be logical. Doesn't seem to be any way to live. I mean, if people are going to have to wear masks in their homes with their own children, I mean, we might as well all just die anyways, right? Because that just seems like a pretty sad life. But, before we hop into the article, let's just play the clip for you. This one comes to us from a CNN interview.
It's clear that this variant is capable of causing serious illness in children. You have heard those stories coming out of Louisiana pediatric ICUs where there are kids as young as a few months old who are sick from this. That is rare. Certainly younger people are less likely to fall ill, but anybody who tries to tell you, you don't have to worry about it if you're a young, healthy person, there's many counterexamples all around us now. So yeah, you do need to think about it, and that's the reason why the recommendations are for kids under 12 that they avoid being in places where they might get infected, which means recommendations of mask wearing in schools, and that at home, parents of unvaccinated kids should be thoughtful about this, and the recommendation is to wear masks there as well.
Let me just follow up on that.
I know that's uncomfortable. I know it seems weird, but it is the best way to protect your kids.
But I just, again, want to fully understand if this is about protecting the kids.
Okay, so he's suggesting that people wear masks in their own homes with their own children. It seems really fucking weird. He's actually backtracked on this. We'll take a look at another article where he backtracks on this. But this one again comes to us from Zero Hedge, Tyler Durden. I know this seems weird. NIH director suggests parents wear masks at home around children. The head of the National Institute of Health, or the NIH, has suggested Tuesday that parents should wear masks at home around their children, even if they don't have COVID-19. It's clear that this variant is capable of causing serious illness in children. You heard those stories coming out of Louisiana pediatric ICUs, where there are kids as young as a few months old who are sick from this, Dr. Francis Collins said during a CNN interview, though he admitted that such cases are rare. And I think something like this is really nothing more than fear-mongering. He admitted it's rare. He says, it's rare, but it does happen. If we're going to point at rare things that do happen, we've seen some stories of, 105-year-old people who wind up getting COVID and beating it. That's not to say that elderly people shouldn't take precautions or that elderly people aren't at risk just because a few people that are over 100 years old have survived it. In the same way, we shouldn't look at a few cases of children getting sick and saying, oh my God, this is killing kids left and right. But he added, anyone who tries to tell you, you don't have to worry about it if you're a young, healthy person, there's many counterexamples. That's the reason why the recommendations are for kids under 12, that they avoid being in places where they might get infected, which means recommendations of mask wearing in schools and at home, Collins said. Parents of unvaccinated kids should be thoughtful about this, and the recommendation is to wear masks there as well. I know that's uncomfortable. I know it seems weird, but it's the best way to protect your kids. And at this point, it just seems like throwing things at the wall. And, if something doesn't get pushed back, we'll continue to run with it. And if something does get pushed back, we'll backtrack and say, yeah, that is crazy that somebody would wear a mask at home with their own kids. What were we thinking? We misspoke, or that's not what we meant. So far, about 400 children under the age of 18 have died with COVID, according to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, of the CDC. While studies have consistently shown that children, adolescents, and young adults are susceptible to SARS-CoV-2 infections, the agency also said children and adolescents have had a lower incidence and fewer severe COVID-19 outcomes than adults. COVID-19 is the illness caused by the CCP virus, also known as SARS-CoV-2 or the novel coronavirus. A number of studies separately have also shown that children are at an extremely low risk of suffering severe health problems or dying from COVID-19. A study from July obtained by the Wall Street Journal suggests that that a child's odds of surviving a COVID-19 infection is about 99.995%. It also noted there is no evidence yet that the Delta COVID-19 variant causes more deaths or severe illnesses among children. Last week, the CDC issued an update to its guidance around mask wearing, saying that vaccinated individuals should wear face coverings in high transmission areas. The agency is now recommending that children, staff, and teachers wear masks in public schools, regardless of vaccination status. If your child is younger than 2 years or cannot wear a mask, limit visits with people who are not vaccinated or whose vaccination status is unknown, and keep distance between your child and other people in public, the agency says in its recent revision. The CDC, however, does not recommend that people wear masks at home unless they are sick. So we're getting kind of conflicting information. The National Institute of Health is telling you wear a mask inside around your kids. The CDC is not saying that. I saw recently, I believe it was a UK or an Australian journalist, came out and basically apologized for terrorizing people and fear-mongering kids about how they're going to kill their grandmas. I did see an Australian politician yesterday was telling grandparents not to see their grandchildren and stay away from their grandchildren. Let's hop into another article where we can kind of take a look at the revision of this statement. Okay, so this one comes to us from Newsweek. The NIH director says there's no need to mask at home. Earlier message garbled. The message he put out earlier, we just saw a video of it. It seemed pretty clear as day. He said you should mask at home with your kids. So we'll see what the excuse is for how this was a miscommunication. National Institutes of Health Director Dr. Francis Collin clarified his comments on mask wearing in front of children Tuesday, saying he garbled an earlier message on CNN. No need to mask at home, Collins tweeted later on Tuesday. Let me clarify the masking message that I garbled on New Day this morning. Vaccinated parents who live in communities with high COVID transmission rates should mask when out in public settings to minimize risk to their unvaccinated kids. That is not at all what he said earlier, and there's really no, unless you have no communication skills whatsoever, I can't see how one message transformed into the other. Like, there's no crossover, there's no chance of misunderstanding. He said, clear as day, wear a mask at home with your kids. But here he says, let me clarify the masking message that I garbled on New Day this morning. Vaccinated parents who live in communities with high COVID transmission rates should wear a mask when out in public indoor settings to minimize risk to their unvaccinated kids. No need to mask at home. Those messages are not at all alike. Tuesday morning, Collins appeared on CNN's New Day, where he answered COVID-19 related questions collected from the public, including those about protecting children who are too young to be vaccinated. The recommendations are for kids under 12 that they avoid being in places where they might be infected, which means recommendations of mask wearing in schools and at home, Collins stressed, saying parents of unvaccinated kids should be thoughtful about this, and a recommendation is to wear masks there as well. I know that's uncomfortable. I know that may seem weird, but that's the best way to protect your kids. Later in the segment, CNN anchors pressed him further to explain his position, and Collins answered, if you are parents who have small children under 12 at home, they are susceptible for getting infected, and if parents are out and about and might themselves be carrying the virus and you don't want to pass that along, he said. So many parents with that recommendation consider wearing masks for families at home to reduce this risk as long as the kids are unvaccinated, especially if you're in a community that has very high transmission at the present time. New Day anchor Brianna Kyler tweeted Collins' original comment after his reversal. Many people interpreted Collins' remarks as meaning parents should wear masks inside. Are you kidding me? Many people interpreted it. He said it clear as day. Many people interpreted Collins' remarks as meaning parents should wear masks inside their own homes when they're alone with their families. Several conservative news outlets, including Fox News and The Federalist, picked up the story, and it spread quickly on social media. In response to Newsweek's questioning whether Collins' updated statement was a reversal of recommendation or an update to a correct or miscommunication, Renate Miles, acting associate director for the communications public liaison for the NIH, said in an email that it was a miscommunication. Again, clear as day what he said. Tuesday's masking guidance controversy comes less than a week after one of the Republican National Committee's Twitter accounts inaccurately claimed that the Surgeon General Vivek Murthy said vaccinated parents should wear masks at home with their kids and outside. What Murphy actually said was, if you happen to have a lot of interaction with folks who are unvaccinated, let's say you're a parent like me who has young children at home who are not vaccinated, that's a circumstance where being extra cautious and wearing the mask, even if you're fully vaccinated, wearing it outside when you're in indoor public locations is an extra step to protecting those at home. In another case, okay, so I mean, at this point, they're just providing cover for this NIH director, like trying to throw out all these unrelated examples of people's words being twisted. But again, you and I both saw this video clip, and I don't think there's really any mistaking his message. So, in the coming weeks and coming months, when they try to shut down schools, when they try to shut down small businesses, think about the people who are giving you advice and telling you how to live. Think about some of the other quote unquote weird advice that they're giving before deciding if you want to listen to them or take your advice from them. I'd be curious to hear what you guys have to think about this story. So go ahead and drop a comment down below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button below, ring the bell. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next one.